compositions all throughout and seeing more of what TES's composition has in store for them. One thing that is on my mind right now is just the Senna and the Smolder. We haven't seen those two champions very much yet, two of Leave's best picks, but if you're an IP, you really can't blind either of them. So you're in a situation where you're either like waiting for TES to pick something first, or, you know, banning something away into picking it, and that hasn't happened just yet.
No, that has not happened yet, but Mbessa has been left through. There are a lot of things up. Trundle, I think, is notably still on the table.
Yep.
I believe that's pretty huge. That's like, I would be surprised if NIP just don't go towards that. I think that champion's really strong right now. It's a great answer to something like Mbessa, but the Gwen still left on the table. This doesn't feel like a game 4 of Fearless. There are a lot of power picks left, and it's really just about what you want to answer them with. Gwen, you know, long time considered to be that tank buster. What are we? Whoa!
If we were in split 1 right now, we'd be like, NIP are destroying this draft, right? But yeah, these champions have been hit a little bit throughout the course of 2025. So has the Mbessa, obviously, particularly in the early game. So still a little bit left to figure out what exactly NIP's composition does look like, as just the top sides have been selected here. Looks like Top Esports going to just get Kanavi on something comfortable. This Wukong, of course, another one of those OP, powerful picks that is still available. And there's the Akali as well. This has a great matchup into the Gwen, although I wouldn't imagine them swapping, but just individually Creme going to have a good time against Solokill in the side lane.
Yeah, I was actually talking about this a bit off camera here, but I really wanted to see Creme's Akali in game number 4. That was almost exactly what I asked for, and I'm getting delivered it. Alongside the Wukong with so much setup, it's going to be the Orianna as the answer. These are very standard drafts, and really it's just the big power picks left available in Fearless that are coming off the board right now. I don't like this Akali, or I don't like this Orianna pick for Doinb. I really like the Akali into Orianna matchup. I think that oftentimes the Akali can just kind of get moving around the map, and especially because you have that playmaker like the Wukong to be able to skirmish with. You know, I'm expecting a lot out of Creme in this game, maybe to make up for some of the mistakes he made on the Azir in game number 3. They're giving him one of his signature champions. We'll see exactly how he's going to be able to capitalize.
The Orianna is good into just like having 3 melees, I would guess, and you can have a nice ball delivery system with Naiyou, but still a lot of the composition left to be seen on TS's side. I think a Xayah ban would be great here for NIP, making sure that JackeyLove doesn't get anything super comfortable against a lot of that point-and-click lockdown, but instead targeting the Kalista, which hasn't seen too much play here in Split 3, but always a powerful pick, specifically in the early to mid-game stages here for somebody like JackeyLove, who's had so much experience on the pick.
Yeah, I mean, you have to get rid of these super dominant 2v2s with so many, you know, supports that are kind of indexed into that left up. You know, if you don't want to ban out the Renata, then yeah, you kind of have to ban out the Kalista. It just is, you know, part of it. If you don't want to ban the Karma, you have to ban the Ezreal. A lot of these pairings are still available, but the Senna going to be taken off the board, and it's not going to be the Smolder. It's going to be the Zeri, so we'll see if maybe they want to index. That Smolder has been huge for Leave at multiple points throughout this year. See if they want to go for it. I expect a hyper carry. Their back is up against the wall here in the upper bracket. That's what they lean on. Jinx is also available, but a lot of those big engage, you know, champions that you want to play with it, not so much. You know, a couple of options, but really would be surprised to see this locked in.
Elise,
wow.
Presumably for Niket in the bottom lane. Wow, that was unexpected to say the least. I mean, hey, we're really skirmishing now. If you're ninjas in pajamas working around this Elise, this Pantheon, maybe there's a world where we flex this stuff around, but I would imagine that Niket is the one piloting this pick. We'll see what the response is now for Top Esports, picking something that can stay safe from a range. Caitlyn locked in, presumably for JackeyLove. We'll now see what Hong has at his disposal. Overall composition for TES still looking very strong.
Yeah, definitely a strong comp overall. If you're going to lock in that dominant 2v2, it really puts pressure on Leave to pick something that can either survive or match this, especially with the Elise, and that becomes very difficult.
You just, I mean, you don't go, there's no way you could pick like a Smolder here or just get destroyed. I feel like have to go somewhat aggressive. I actually really like this Misfortune into the 3 melees, potentially. We'll see if this does end up getting locked in. It is a mobile, which could be a bit of a problem against Mbessa Akali, but does provide a lot of damage if he's able to be left untouched. There it is, Misfortune in for Leave to round out the composition for NIP. They've got a lot of big ultimates. They've got some Wombo. The question is, can they survive just the all-out assault that Top Esports are going to be able to give?
look at how much damage TES have. I mean, it's a ridiculous amount of engage and damage, but I think most notably for me, the range coming out from the Caitlyn and from the Karma, and, you know, the ability to, I think, really push and poke down a lot of these fights before they start could be a really big deal. I think on the flip side, you're looking at a mid-game power spike, as always is the case for Pantheon and Elise, but, you know, every Caitlyn team, I always talk about it, every Caitlyn team has the little, you know, dip and then back up in terms of how they want to end up playing. Their early game's going to be really strong. Their late game's going to be really strong. When you can start hitting the third, fourth item, Caitlyn can really start shredding through. Once again, can you take advantage of that window where Caitlyn's not going to have a lot of, you know, avenues to be able to fight? Ideally, that's where Creme steps in, but it's really going to be up to the execution for both of these teams here, I think. All right. But it looks like I might have lost my play-by-play caster here. As Grapes has disappeared, we can definitely just continue to talk. I mean, there's so much responsibility and pressure on some of these guys right now. Just really excited to see how they utilize it. I think Creme in particular, coming off of that game at number 3, has a lot of responsibility to step up and to really make the most of it at the current moment. Can he do that? Is Top Esports going to be able to make it work? I believe Grapes is coming back. Hopefully soon. We want to get you back here, Grapes.
I think I'm here. Can you guys hear me?
Yes,
so.
Yes, you are
okay.
here. You are back.
Hey, just in time for game at number 4 to begin. Thank you for carrying me through that transition, Kman. Let's do it as TES are on match point. Crowd still roaring in Shenzhen. 5-man stack for Top Esports to start this game off, wanting to make sure they do not get picked off by a stray cocoon from Niket or otherwise. And they're going to be able to gain some nice control into this bottom side jungle.
Yeah, this is a pretty standard setup here for any team with Caitlyn Karma. Early on, you want to be as much of a nuisance as you possibly can to try to take away as much as possible. Niket going to have to kind of move his way out of here, but for now it looks like Kanavi is at the very least going to pressure out this part of the jungle. Vision will be dropped. See what they want to do here.
Seems like they still want to just keep going for things. I mean, look at Solokill. He's on the bottom side too. It's 5 members apiece on the bottom side jungle trying to defend NIP's blue buff as Top Esports start this one off. Solokill's at half, the Mantra Q doing a lot of damage, but all of that for effectively nothing as everyone will retreat back to their original positions, and Naiyou going to get his first start on the blue.
Yeah, this is just a little bit of a benefit to Top Esports, who just get a ton of damage down on Niket from this poke.
Wow.
The heal's going to get popped.
Oh, the Ignite is cleansed too. It's just the cocoon. You don't have any damage on top of that here for Niket. He took a weird angle, repelled at a strange time. And this is the start of a Caitlyn lane here, Kman. It's going to be tough for Lee and Niket to play the rest of this one.
You know, I don't want to, you know, make any assumptions, but Niket has yet to play Elise in professional play. I mean, we can check. I believe he might have played it in the previous split, but either way, he certainly has not played it for this particular team. And, you know, it's looking like it right now. It's looking like it's not particularly practiced for him, so we'll see if he can adapt pretty quickly and, you know, pick things up, because it's a pretty bad start overall for the bot lane.
I mean, that's surprising to me that you would pick something like this that is not, like, something you've practiced a lot of. Because there was a lot of support still on the table, right? I mean, you didn't see the Caitlyn Karma lane, but, like, even into just, like, the Mbessa Wukong Akali, I'd imagine. I mean, I'm a Tarek believer. I think that champion would have been pretty good here. You could have gone like a Bard. Who knows? But it seems like NIP have a very specific strategy here. But here comes Kanavi off of a level 3 gank, looking for Doinb. Electrocute procced onto him. He's down to about 300 HP, but should be able to live.
Yep, it's just a little bit of a disruption coming in from Kanavi. He's just trying to really scout things out. He's going to take a look here on the top side and see that these camps are still up. Naiyou going to be walking down to his red, but Kanavi is going to get spotted on this ward. Very important to see that placed.
So Kanavi's not going to be able to get much more. However, the bot lane looking very grim for ninjas in pajamas. Leaving Niket in so much trouble. And hey, you give JackeyLove Caitlyn just the smallest inch, he's already taken a mile and more.
Yeah, the problem with this in particular is that you picked Misfortune Elise. Like, you did not pick a lane that wants to get shoved into tower and just farm and to not have pressure. This is really bad for this bot lane duo. Basically, all of their power in the early game has been completely neutralized. Doinb even making his way down towards this bottom side to try and help them out. They're going to overextend. They could potentially catch them out here.
Oh, Flash Cocoon. Nice response here for JackeyLove as they sent Doinb down with a teleport to try to go on to Hong. He's going to flash away over the Tri-Brush to survive, and nobody on top will fall.
Yeah, it's a valiant effort. I think it's the right call for Doinb to try and bail out their bot lane as much as possible, but it's just difficult to really be able to capitalize on. Skali is going to have even more time to start getting some gold, and like I said, at least from an individual perspective as an Orianna player, I don't particularly love the Akali matchup. I do think that especially paired up with the Wukong, you should have some prio in the mid lane if you are Creme, and for all the criticism we gave him for the Azir game in Game 3, and, you know, at times in Game number 2, this is his signature champion. When you think of Creme, you think of the Akali. We'll see what he can do on it in this game in particular.
It's interesting because, you know, if you're a recent LPL's fan, you might more recognize Creme for his control mages, because that's a lot of what he's been playing recently as a part of this TES organization specifically, but getting his start on like the OMGs of the world, this is really where Creme made his money, earned himself a chance on a contender like Top Esports that got people so excited about him as a young player. And so to see him unleashed in this way, very exciting for Top Esports in a potentially clinching scenario in this upper quarterfinal series.
Yeah, he's going to have a lot of responsibility on him in this game, but Dragon has spawned, and Naiyou is not going to waste any time. He's at the very least going to jump on it now, see if they want to continue to take it, as Doinb takes a bit of a trade in the mid lane. Creme actually taking quite a bit of poke. Niket is in the area. Not really a lot of aggression to go down here. It's just going to be Creme farming up under tower under a bit of duress, but with the Dragon being taken, this should be relatively positive overall for NIP.
I mean, it's taking really long for Naiyou to take this down. He's only level 4, and nobody on his team was able to join. It's enough for Kanavi to back, hit level 5, buy a Sheen, and come back to make this an all-out brawl around the first Dragon pit. JackeyLove on the flank, but Naiyou still able to secure the Dragon. He will likely go down, not even going to burn his flash, as it's first blood over to TES.
And it's first blood over to Creme. I cannot stress enough how important this Akali is towards this draft. Getting gold onto this champion can really make a lot of the problems much, much easier. And that's going to be a very big pickup for Top Esports. They do lose out on the Dragon, but it's already over a 1K gold lead for TES. And you can see that by the CS leads generated in almost every single lane.
1,500. That's pretty similar to what things looked like in game number 1, even though the kills were, you know, one way or the other. And we all know how that one ended. It was dominant from Top Esports after they got that early lead. And we're seeing that continue to be at least the case for now, as it's been really hard for Leave to play this game at all. JackeyLove and Hong really having a good time here. They're going to get a second plate.
There is no worse feeling than being a misfortune and being completely stuck under your tower. It's just so tough to feel like you're having an impact on the game, as we see some top laners duking it out. These two were huge in game number 3, and it looks like they're going to be huge again. 369 burning the flash with Niket up here.
Naiyou here as well. He's still level 4, by the way. It's been a tough time for him in terms of farming, and that was a big problem for NIP as they got later on into game number 1 specifically. Cocoon lands on it to Creme. It's going to be followed up here by a stun on Naiyou. There's a shockwave, and there's a beautiful play by NIP. The roaming jungle support duo will take down the Akali.
That's just Creme being too far forward without vision. He wants to try to get knowledge and understanding on where the Pantheon is, and unfortunately he gets a little bit too intimate of knowledge to find out where that Pantheon is, as he sends him back to the fountain. But it's a really nice play from NIP to be able to get themselves back onto the board. Naiyou needs to start getting going. Like, he needs to start moving forward. This Pantheon is not meant to be down this much in the early game. The kill definitely helps, but we'll have to see where he goes from here. Now the grubs are up.
I mean, NIP, again, they have to kind of just keep going, knowing like what is potentially to come, as they do have, you know, a good amount of damage still. It's enough for Naiyou to smite away one of the grubs, with JackeyLove and Hong running up, and with Kanavi still having that ultimate advantage at this point, should be TS securing the next 2. Shout out to NIP. They've done a good job stalling out this game, but it's still a 1,000 gold lead in favor of top, with a lot of their members, specifically the bottom lane, in great situations.
Yeah, and the thing about it is, like, yeah, they're doing a great job stalling out this game, but what does that mean for the game as a whole? When you look at your draft, are you happy to stall that out? Well, you do have Gwen, Orianna, but you also have Misfortune Elise. Do you feel comfortable going into 5v5s later on in the game? I think you probably do around the 1 or 2 item spikes as we get closer to these dragons that are coming up, especially because you've got the first one, but you definitely can't be waiting too long. I think you definitely hit a break point here that, especially with the Gold League Top Esports, just gets back into control with Caitlyn and Akali really becoming these big damage dealers. So as much as they are doing a good job slowing down the pace, they are eventually going to have to make a decision.
No matter where Leave goes, he's got a wave crashing under his tower thanks to JackeyLove. Here comes a 3-man assault onto 369 though. The public execution goes on to Niket. The Cocoon only going to buy some space as all the NIP wanted was to teleport out of Creme, and they do get it. And now Doinb gets some free reign on the top side.
Yeah, and Creme continuing to just output a ridiculous amount of damage. Naiyou's in danger.
Okay, does not use a second proc of the R. Would have been a one-way trip without a flash, most likely. Creme just chunking out Naiyou, forcing him back to his camps, keeping the pressure on. NIP, again, they have some big ultimates at their disposal, but they got to get to a position first where the shockwaves, the bullet times are actually going to hurt.
Yeah, I mean, you've got that big wombo potential, but I think part of that has to do with the fact that Pantheon can kind of be anywhere, so you can set these things up. With that Grand Starfall on cooldown now at level 6, a lot of the playmaking tools that are available to NIP become a lot harder to pull off, or at least a lot more predictable to set up. So we'll have to see if they want to get creative in the way that they want to play around these objectives. At least for now, Top Esports continuing to grow their gold lead. Basically every single lane just generating a lead on their own, specifically this bot lane, where Caitlyn is really becoming a problem. JackeyLove, we highlighted him. He's been such a pivotal player for Top Esports this year. He's the MVP of the split, and he's certainly making it look pretty good right now.
30 CS lead, almost 1,000 in the bank, and that is just off of CS alone. Having a great time here into this game, and you can see here featured on the LPL broadcast as well, as Top Esports continuing to add to the pressure, picking up plate after plate after plate. We're going to get a third down here, then a fourth overall across the map. What is it? 7, 8 plates taken in the full tower at 11 minutes.
That is so much gold just getting influxed into this Caitlyn, a whole 1k up. Again, no kills, no assists, no nothing. It's just map pressure that's been getting Caitlyn this gigantic lead. You know, we worry about Caitlyn in the mid game, and especially because you're looking at a comp that has a Pantheon, that has an Orianna and a Misfortune who can really kind of combo that off. If you're giving her these free, you know, gold advantages, she has Collector finished. Like, the fight right now, despite being at 12 minutes, a part of the game where it's supposed to be weaker for Caitlyn, is not anti-Caitlyn. You got to be very scared of that if you're NIP.
Results in Top Esports taking the first dragon as well. And NIP, you know, like, we said in game number 1, as again, I feel like we're mirroring very similar situations at this point. The engages from Naiyou can be great. The wombos from Doinb and Leave could be awesome. Niket could find some nice picks. It doesn't matter if you're down 4,000 gold at the 20-minute mark, and that's where things seem to be headed at this point, which is how dominant Top Esports have been in the laning phase, and you're continuing to see it with JackeyLove and Hong once again pressuring this mid-tier 1. And the ace in the hole not going to make Leave any more comfortable around the area either.
Yeah, this is such a brutal place to be for Misfortune. Down 30 CS, farming under tower, waiting for first item completion. I think the hope for NIP here is that you can get gold, and you can get gold on primary members. I think if they can learn anything from game number 3, it's taking Kanavi's aggressiveness and putting it into Naiyou. You know, showing him that it's okay to play really aggressive and to constantly look for plays. I think the more they look for, the better off this is going to be in the mid game here, especially as he's now finishes under Sky.
Oh, Leave pops the barrier, but it's not enough. JackeyLove takes him down with double headshots, and will get another kill into the hands of Top Esports. Speaking of, Niket under heavy fire, as Kanavi gets shockwave to keep his support alive. Doinb doing a good job protecting on the top side, but Top Esports continuing to provide just an absolute assault on all 3 fronts of the Rift.
Things are going quite bad when Misfortune full channels a bullet time and you stand in it auto-attacking as Caitlyn. That's a lot of power for JackeyLove as he picks up that kill in the mid lane. This Caitlyn is starting to get out of control. You see the top laner starting to duel. Could actually be
Solo
something
kill.
pretty big.
Dodges away from the public execution. Naiyou coming in as well with the Grand Starfall. Flashes on top of the Mbessa. Not many more tools of escape at its disposal unless the dashes do connect. Naiyou is taking solo but will survive. The shield gonna keep 369 up and healthy. And now Solokill forced to run. Hong flashes after him. Looking for the Mantra Cube but will not find it. But Kanavi will find it all the same. Feats of Warfare secured. And it might be another one as well as Niket's now forced to flee. Doesn't have a flash. Doesn't have the repel. Certainly going to go down as 369 and Kanavi continuing to chase. There's the flash forward from the Monkey King, and Kanavi makes it 4-1.
Things go from bad to worse for Ninjas in Pyjamas as a way too overeager dive on the bot lane ends up really coming back to bite them. You know, I wanted to see them make plays, Grapes. I'm not sure that's the one I was looking for. Leave now has to flash out. This karma is causing so many problems for Ninjas in Pyjamas, but once again, it's not working for them. They're going for desperation plays. It's too early in the game for those, but now you've enabled this Wukong to be much more aggressive. You have Mbessa closing down on her first item. Akali still has that kill, even if the gold is at the very least a little bit in favor of Doinb. This game is firmly in control of top esports.
And if you're NIP, you're saying, guys, we can scale, but if I'm in solo queue, this misfortune is pressing the FF button about 20 seconds or so. So that's not the best position for them to be in at this point. A 3,000 gold lead opened up here for top as your first place team from a group Ascend looking to have this one end in a gentleman's sweep.
Yeah, I think they're certainly in a great position to do that. Creme, though, could potentially get capitalized on. Teleport coming in.
Teleport comes in from Doinb. He provides a really nice opportunity for the perfect execution of the second dash. Enough to keep Creme alive. And now Kanavi is fighting 1v3. One more crushing blow will take down Elise. And now Doinb is going to be under fire. Finally, Solokill finds the kill. And now the collapse is here. Remember, there's no tier 1 turret on the bottom side, so Doinb is in a lot of trouble as they are just waiting for Leave to arrive to prevent top esports from going any farther.
That was almost a true 1v3 from Kanavi, and he still picked up a kill. Pretty massive stuff from this Wukong, who's in a very strong spot. But it is gold going over to Solokill on this Gwen. If there is a champion that can, you know, make things right, can absolve all wounds, it's the Gwen on the top side who has hit level 11. Solokill has also been excellent in this series up until this point. Riftmaker has been completed. It's really the only lane alongside Doinb that's looking even remotely playable gold-wise. But Herald is going to be started here. NIP are on this side, but Hong by himself right now alongside 369. Gonna be kind of forcing some concerning traits from NIP.
Oh, Cocoon lands onto the Mbessa. The shield's gonna buy a little bit. So is the Eclipse. 369 with so many dashes, able to keep himself alive. Hex Drinker and the Eclipse doing some big work as well.
It's so hard to pick an Mbessa. It's the reason I think champions like Elise have kind of become a little bit less popular. Is just this idea that, you know, how do you get, you know, forward progress? At the end of the day, it really ends up working because 369 has to burn resources, and now Rift Herald does go in favor of NIP if they can take some of that standing gold on the map, get it into the pockets of Orianna and Gwen, who need to be there to carry in the late game. That can be really nice for this team, but you need to make sure you can utilize this properly. Dragon is on the map as well, and that could be a big win condition for TES and even for NIP with both of them at one apiece.
NIP just, they need some way to just get some gold into their carries' hands, and top
Creme.
esports aren't letting it come for free, as Creme will just take down Niket without even using the second proc of his ult. Gonna try to find it on a Doinb instead. The perfect execution, gonna try to take him down, but Naiyou gonna save his mid laner with the Grand Starfall, and Hong here as well with the tether. Naiyou looking aggressively, but he doesn't know that JackeyLove's on the way. Meanwhile, the Dragon going down. A Shuriken flip lands onto Naiyou again, and Creme is going to force Doinb and Naiyou back away.
Creme is playing gutsy right now, and so is 369.
Going in with the public execution, knowing that Kanavi is here as well to help him out. It's just going to be the needlework. Forced out of Solokill, as now top esports have control on the top side. Doinb in severe danger, gets tethered, gets rooted. Hong with one more inner flame should take him down, but JackeyLove on the backside gets picked up by Naiyou and Niket, and Creme is out of energy. Finally able to use the Shuriken flip, but he won't be able to flip back as Niket will get the kill. Naiyou saving the game for NIP, getting themselves a numerous amount of kills back, and Niket picks himself up another one as well.
What was that fight? That looked like a clean dive on the top side that they should have been able to disengage from, but they think they can win it after their health bars have been completely obliterated. Hong even just walks back in to give a third kill for free. a truly terrible play there from Top Esports. It doesn't completely turn the tide, but it really is not good for them. They are going to lose this top lane tier 1 forward and give quite a lot of gold over to Naiyou and even to Niket, who can actually utilize it quite a bit, but we're going to see how this ends up going. This is just such a risky dive. Doinb ends up, surviving a little bit, and once that cocoon comes down, the cleanse is just a little bit late. Naiyou gets to jump onto JackeyLove, and at this point, you're completely outnumbered. Creme, unfortunately, trapped a little bit behind enemy lines because of the lack of energy he has, as you noted. He's just not able to break that down, but Hong just walks up and wants to continue this fight. I guess pretending like Naiyou isn't just going to be able to heal this off, and just ends up giving his life as well. It's a careless play from Top Esports and shouldn't cost them too much, but those are the kinds of things you can't really be doing in the mid game if you want to close this out.
That's enough. We can start to cope. Guys, Doinb is 500 gold ahead. He's got his Roa stacking up. We got 2 items on Naiyou. He's very strong on this Pantheon. And they're going to look for another pick onto Creme as well. He comes in with a perfect execution, dodges the shockwave, beautifully played by Creme. He just broke Doinb's ankles and has forced the Orianna to run straight to his doom. The ace in the hole from JackeyLove will do the deed. And now Naiyou is under fire, a 1v4 under his tier 1 as it melts like paper mache. Creme, the hero, to get 2 kills right back for TES.
Top Esports saw the topside play and they said, hold on, let me try that one again. Let me get a second take on that one, and they certainly make it a little bit more worthwhile the second time around. Creme, say what you will about his questionable decisions. We'll get back to him.
Oh, Leave just unable to play the game. Kanavi, 369, both ulti on top of him, and that is a dead misfortune. And Elise soon to follow. Niket in a tough spot, lands the cocoon, but he's running the wrong way. At the very most, looking for an execute at this point. We'll see if he gets it as Creme is still hunting him down. Run, my little spider, run! Underneath the fountain, maybe one more tower shot. And he's going to, I think he's going to be able to get it. There it is. Well done. Hey, small victories right now. It's going to be Otacon started up on spawn in response.
It feels weird to kind of sit here and clap and cheer while we watch TES take Otacon, but certainly feels appropriate for how this game has gone. It's just been a complete Top Esports domination. I wanted to see more of them controlling the map. Well, here you go. We don't even get time to talk about the rest of these plays. Everyone on the team is playing at such a high level. Kanavi, Creme, JackeyLove, they've all been excellent here. Now they're taking away everything from the enemy jungle as well. It just feels like Top Esports are in peak form in Game 4.
One throw was enough. Let's get another look at this play from Creme. I mean, it's just beautiful.
It's gorgeous. Like, there's so much to talk about here. Creme plays this about as well as he can, and then the fade away, walk away from the explosion as JackeyLove gets the headshot to take down Doinb. And then Naiyou, unfortunately, stuck under the tower at this point, and the tower seems to be gone. Just another kill picked up. This is what happens when you start playing comfort. You don't need to overcomplicate the process. Creme on Akali, Kanavi on Wukong, JackeyLove on Caitlyn. Let them dominate. Let them use their mechanical skill. They are showcasing why they were the #1 seed here.
NIP, oh man. The coping did not work, seemingly, as going to take a little bit more than that. We have the Herald propped in the top side. Don't know how much that's going to be able to get. It seems like Naiyou just never got a great opportunity to utilize that. Should likely just go to waste. Other than buying maybe some time to allow NIP to get to the dragon in about 15 seconds. Solokill does not have a teleport, and Kanavi's here to try to pick him off instead. 369 in the area as well. I see a skirmish in the mid lane too. NIP looking desperate at this point. They need to find some answers, and right now they don't have them.
Yeah, it's not looking good for NIP. They do get it off. They are able to get the charge. I guess at this point, it is what it is. But NIP going to be making their way down to the dragon now. They're actually going to be there first. Creme is on the flank on the bottom side here. At least try and pressure them out from the brush. There's a lot of damage coming down onto Naiyou, but he does have to, at the very least, be a little careful. Dragon going to be started up, though. This would be sole point for Top Esports. NIP want to deny this at all costs.
369 has teleport, so he should be able to join the fight. Numerous amount of places he could use that spell, including a wave in the bot side, but instead going to look towards that ward as in comes the Grand Starfall. Target going to be JackeyLove. Caitlyn without the flash. He cleanses, but he can't cleanse the DPS that Naiyou and Solokill have. That's the first kill in favor of NIP, but it's going to come at the cost of Niket, and Creme will jump forward. Public execution onto the Pantheon, and he's going to go down to the Cyclone of Kanavi. Bullet time shockwave combo. Not nearly enough. Leave gonna go down. Creme fully taking everyone, and he'll flash away to safety. Doinb will take him down, but it'll come at the cost of an ace going over to NIP.
Top Esports once again just proving that if you kill one of us, it only makes us stronger. All that for a drop of blood on JackeyLove. They burn everything to kill the Caitlyn, and after that, they've got nothing left to stop Creme on this Akali. And Kanavi on this 7-kill Wukong, who has been massive across the course of this game. It is so difficult to take down a comp that has this many threats and this much range. But at the end of the day, it's Top Esports who continue to make the most of it. It's JackeyLove, unfortunately, just walking up a bit too much. Ends up getting hit with the rocket belt. Solokill going in, followed here by Naiyou's ult and flash. So much invested into taking down this Caitlyn. And at this point, if the Caitlyn was the only threat, perhaps this could be playable, but Niket has to give his whole life. Now there's nothing left for Solokill or Naiyou to do, and once that ultimate hits from the Mbessa, everything is dusted. Perfectly followed up by Kanavi. Even the bullet time basically fully connecting from lead can't salvage this fight. Creme does too much damage. 369, Kanavi, they're doing too much. Hong with the shields. It's just everything coming together for Top Esports, and now you're looking at a 5k gold lead, full control, soul point, Baron spawning in under a minute. Full control to TES.
They gotta keep the pressure on though. I mean, right now, Solokill pretty strong. Naiyou chasing down Creme as well. That third proc of the needlework just used to chunk out of the Akali. As Top Esports up 5,000 gold, but want to make sure they end this series quickly as Doinb now being pressured by 369, but the Shockwave is gonna make sure that the Mbessa cannot continue to go forward. Next steps for TES, the Baron, and then this Dragon that's spawning in 3.5 minutes.
Yeah, you've got to make sure that you're setting up still. There still is an avenue to make some mistakes here, and we know Top Esports not the most clinical team in the entire universe. They are prone to some mistakes every once in a while, but with that Baron spawned, they get full control of this top side jungle. Kanavi going to continue to help 369 push this into the top lane. We see Creme just free hitting on the bottom side of the map here, pushing into Solokill with that teleport available. So tough to be able to match everywhere, but see if NIP can do the job. Baron is going to be potentially the next target.
And to cope again, you know, now we're getting 2 items on leave. This is potentially like the area nearby that mid-game trough for Caitlyn, especially without summoner spells for the next little bit. NIP need to find some sort of action that results in them getting back into this game. Problem is, the gold lead is still pretty significant, but if they can find the right fight, things could go their way. They might find something here onto 369, who's at half HP, forcing Niket to use the repel, but the Shockwave doesn't find anybody. Solokill teleporting in, but he's going to be immediately matched by Creme, and Doinb will be taken down. Niket to follow, and in goes Creme on to Naiyou. The Grand Starfall going to save him for just a little bit, but the bullet time just tickling Top Esports at this point. Leave gets rooted. Leave gets taken down. It's a triple kill to JackeyLove, another ace for TS.
Well, if you were looking for the dagger, I think we just found it. That could perhaps be the final nail in the coffin for Ninjas in Pyjamas in this game. Top lane tier 2 is going to fall. Baron should be close. It doesn't look like they want to prioritize it just yet, but they can duo with the Wukong and the Caitlyn very easy, as they in fact are going to do. That was a fight that looked like it could be good for NIP, but once that Shockwave goes wide for Doinb, there is no way to keep it going. Unfortunately, as we've talked about all series long, it comes down to execution, and that's what TES had in abundance.
Top Esports going to be able to claim the Baron, extend their gold lead to around 10,000, 11,000, I should say, with that one taken down. And reality starting to set in for Ninjas in Pyjamas. A trip to the lower bracket seems inevitable. A matchup against the defending champions, anyone's legends, to keep their dreams of going international alive awaits them in the coming days. Unless they can make some sort of miracle happen, but it just does not seem possible at this point, Kman.
I think things are looking bleak. Hong can't even be collapsed upon by 4 members here of NIP for fear of any retaliation. Creme is going to be making his way up. I think some of the most notable things you can look at on your screen right now, you know, JackeyLove level 16, Leave just hitting level 14. Oh, and we might not even get to that point, JackeyLove.
From half HP, a 2-man Shockwave though lands on a JackeyLove, and he'll get shut down by Naiyou. The bullet time again, not doing anything to take down 369, as it is a 2-for-1 overall. Creme dashing forward, public execution. There's a Cyclone as well from Kanavi. Naiyou chunked to 500. He gets knocked up again and taken down, and only Doinb and Leave remain to save the game, to save the series for Ninjas in Pyjamas, as Top Esports looking to close this one out.
Doinb and Leave alone in the base for Ninjas in Pyjamas. It's almost poetic. The two members that have been with the team for the entirety of the year have to hold off the mammoth task of top esports. We do see Niket respawning. The base is being sieged. Will this be it?
369 going in, taking Leave down to half again. Second inhibitor down into the bottom lane. But it looks like top esports do not want to take any risks. They want to play things safe, and they have all the time in the world to end this game at this point. It's a 13,500 gold lead, and they are looking fine and dandy here in this game number 4. They'll rotate back down to the Dragon, get themselves the Ocean Soul, and seal any hope of NIP coming back to force a game 5.
You know, NIP have at least found some success killing JackeyLove by diving in with the Ocean Soul. I'm not quite sure that's going to be as efficient as we get a replay of exactly how this started. It's literally just one crit auto that kills Leave and then instantly obliterates Niket. This is a miserable position to be. Oh, well, there you go.
369 said, screw this replay. I'm going to end the game myself. Takes down Leave single-handedly. It's going to be a double kill in for Creme as well. Solo kill in a 1v3 under his tower. Going to get one back onto Hong, but it's not going to get him his life right back. Doinb underneath the tier 3. He's going to be the last casualty. Kanavi and the rest of top esports dominate Ninjas in Pyjamas as top esports go to the top as your first seed in Group Ascend moves on to the upper bracket semifinals. And hey, they got a matchup against their old support and Crisp against Weibo in just a couple days.
What a great series for top esports. You can talk about, you know, game 2, we're scared. Game 3, there are moments. The best parts of TES were here today. Game 1, Game 4, we saw the #1 team from the regular season. We saw the team that won split #1 here in the LPL. That version of them exists here, and if this is what they're going to be, if they can bring that version of them out often, I mean, they could be very heavy favorites to take an LPL trophy at the end of the year.
And our Split 2 champions did not win today, but our Split 1 champions did. Top esports making Ninjas in Pyjamas look a little bit rougher around the edges than they did in Group Nirvana, to say the very least. Hey, believe the NIP have a good chance down there in the lower bracket to make things interesting against anyone's legend, but you have to imagine it's going to be a tough task for them against the defending champions, as NIP, again, they had their goals of making it to international, but it's going to be a very tall task for them. As for top esports, hey, they get to play against Weibo, and should be just one more best of series for them to at least lock themselves a spot in the regional qualifier, setting themselves up in good position to get towards Worlds if they continue to look at this form.
I think Worlds is honestly like the expectation, like the bare minimum for top esports. Like there is no way that this team is looking at top 4 and saying that that is their floor. Obviously, we've seen that, you know, what they crash out on, you know, is 5th or 6th, and that could be a potential disaster for this team. But this is not the same Split 2 team. I firmly believe that. I think a lot of the things that they struggled with in Split 2 have really been worked on by the team. I think JackeyLove's in better form. I think Kanavi's in better form right now. You know, and not to spoil my own All-Pro votes, I voted Kanavi first team All-Pro in the jungle. I really do think that, you know, he's just on fire right now, and we saw that in this series. I think Creme, get him on the things he's good at. When this team plays their comfort level, when they start going towards their own style, there are very few teams in the LPL that even have the hands to be able to deal with it.
Yeah, and you can debate the draft of NIP. I feel like overall just the level 1 doomed them from the start. If they maybe are able to get a better, you know, first 5 minutes of the game, we could still be watching game number 4 unfold. But once top esports grabs a hold of that one, especially from the bottom lane, where JackeyLove and Hong are just able to completely dismantle Leave and Niket in that series, it made our featured matchup look not so featured after all, as it was a tough one for Leave at the end of that. But again, hard to blame him specifically. It was just the way this game unfolded from minute 1. And top esports, utilizing that strategy well. They got JackeyLove ahead, again, overall, playing so consistently throughout the entire series, and definitely in prime position to continue this run in what could be one of the last times we see JackeyLove in his true prime.
And that's the joy of it, right? Is that you never really get a chance to see like the legends of the game like go out on their own terms. Like, I don't know what's gonna happen with JackeyLove. Maybe he plays for the next 10 years and You know, he really cements himself as one of the greatest of all time. But, you know, all I know is that I'm so excited to watch him on this run. And if you want to talk about a player who stepped up today, JackeyLove was incredible. This was MVP JackeyLove. He absolutely lived up to the billing. You were absolutely right. There was no difference, or there was no conversation between our featured matchup. Leave was not on the level here today, and that really goes to show just what JackeyLove can bring to this team. That's the kind of upside that can get Top Esports over the hump, and hopefully we see it for more of the playoffs as well.
Wait for the final stats and the like. Let's take a look at our updated bracket now that we're done with a 9-game slate on LPL English. Glad it wasn't 10, especially for our producer Kelsey's sake, as got a lot more games to cover here the rest of the way. I think it's 14 more shows to wrap up the season, both of the playoffs as well as the regional qualifiers. So you make sure to stay tuned for the rest of this. We're going to stay in the upper bracket going into tomorrow. IG against BLG going to be next on the menu. Invictus Gaming look very strong. BLG end up dropping a couple of games to JDG. And suddenly, with Beishuan back in, a lot of question marks around that team. And we'll get into that tomorrow, obviously. But again, going back into these highlights, Top Esports, with some of those inconsistencies we're seeing from other teams, could be the team to beat right now in the LPL.
I really think you have to consider them that. And I know that that's not like the most popular opinion. Invictus, I think, has a ton of fans, and they're white hot right now. This team is not lost since, what, week 2, week 3 of the regular season against FPX, and they've really kind of run around and made a lot of plays. I think there's a lot of exciting players. The Shy, Rookie, all of them have really been excellent, and they 3-0'd EDG. I think you can make a strong argument that Top Esports is a better team than Invictus Gaming. Now, I think that they are the two to beat right now, but do I think you can make a strong case that one is definitively better than the other? No. I think that they absolutely have to be considered within the same tier, and if there was somebody out there that would pick Top Esports right now, I certainly would not begrudge them for that.
It's hard to say, because there still are flaws and things that they have to work on, whether it's like finding the right fights and things like that. Obviously, NIP were able to take a game off of them in this series, and being able to draft the right ways, and you can answer a lot of different ways as to the things that could be improved on for this team. But when they're at their best, Top Esports look like a dominant team in the LPL at the very least, and they definitely want to try to redeem themselves from the international performance they put up at First Stand at Lowell Park last couple of months, a long time ago at this point, it seems like. And they got a new support, they got some new mojo potentially, and they're looking very good, at least to open up the postseason.
Yeah, I think it's quite clear, at least to me, at worst, this is a top 2 team, at least in terms of where we're at now. That's why I like making that caveat, because the LPL playoffs are insane. Yep. Like, you never know. I mean, anyone's legend dropped to the lower bracket today. Like, anything can happen in the playoffs. We're going to get at least one team that flames out and just underperforms and, doesn't have the performance that maybe they're looking for. And maybe that could be a team like Top Esports. Let's not forget, as much as I've been hyping them up, TES won their round 1 matchup in Split 2. They got to round 2, and then they didn't win a series after that. And they looked good against FPX, and it just didn't matter. So you never want to count your chickens before they hatch, but definitely looks a little bit different here for TES.
And again, just like everybody having their own ups and downs, right, throughout the LPL is something to watch. The fact that only IG were able to 3-0 their first series of the playoffs means that, things could look a little bit up in the air in terms of, who we have favored, who we have, being in good positions to go to Worlds, who could potentially sneak into the regional qualifier. It's going to be very hard for NIP at this point, as they're going to have to at least take down anyone's legend and make our defending champions end 7th to 8th before, of course, heading on to maybe even another series after that. So tall tasks here for Ninjas in Pyjamas, but definitely something that they will take in stride and a challenge that they will gratefully accept. As we wait for our player of the game here in this final matchup, Kanavi, 3-6. I mean, like, there was a lot of people that were doing pretty well. If you just give it to JackeyLove again, I'd be fine with that too. Okay, it's Kanavi. Yeah.
Honestly, I'm okay with him getting this, just because I think it was quite clear to me today that we don't give player of the series, but if there was one, I think Kanavi would be, in heavy contention for the award alongside JackeyLove. I think those two were just absolutely astounding today. And who's surprised to hear that, really, at the end of the day, who's surprised to hear that Kanavi and JackeyLove were very good in a League of Legends Best of 5? Of course they were. They're very good at League of Legends, so it's cool to see them, live up to the billing, at least in round number 1.
Yeah, and so for top esports, on to at least top 6, so they're not going to finish worse than last split, although it would have been pretty hard to do that. They now get to play up against Weibo, their old support in Crisp. That's going to be a fun little interaction down there, and that's going to be happening in just a couple of days. But before we say goodbye, farewell, here on the LPL English stream, we want to give a very big thank you to our Elite Coffee supporters, Aaron Soupmung and Forrest Without, as their pledged financial contributions to help level up the broadcast and give back to the casting crew who strive to give you an English LPL product every day. On behalf of our producer, Kelsey, my color caster, Kman, big shout out to Slayer and Cubby, who were there for the 5-game banger earlier today. My name is Grapes. Thank you so much for watching. The LPL's Journey to Worlds continues tomorrow with Invictus Gaming up against BLG. So long, everyone.